Okay, so in this example, we're going to learn how to input data points into our graphing calculators, and we're going to get the calculator to generate the sign function that fits the data the best. So it's kind of like a curve of best fit, and we're going to ask the calculator to give us a sinusoidal equation that fits this data. So we don't have a lot of maybe familiarity with this. In other math classes we do this a little bit more. But what you're going to want to do for this question, and I'll just read through it real quick, okay? So this is, we're talking about the day of the year, and they've calculated the hours of sunlight in Iqaluit, Nunavut. So on day 21, okay, on day 21, the hours of sunlight, there it looks like, it's hours of daylight, number of hours of daylight, is 6.12. So what you guys are doing right now is jotting down. On the x-axis is going to be the day of the year, and the y-axis is going to be the hours of sunlight. So go ahead and just finish that chart. Okay, so now that you've got these values, okay, from your book or whatever, and you've got those written down in your notes, you know that we are going to be plotting points. The first point is going to be 21, 6.12. The second one's going to be 52, 9.36. We can do this by hand. We're going to get the calculator to do it. So this is how you do it. You hit Stat. So there's a Statistics button. And then you're just going to hit Enter because you want to edit the statistical lists here. Now I've got some values. This is for another question, so I'm going to leave those there. What you're going to want to do is you can move to an empty list. I'm going to use lists 3 and 4 for the X and Y values. So what you want to do now is you want to take a minute and you want to just type in your X values. The first one is 21, hit enter, and it'll go to the next one. So go run down the list and type them all into your calculator. Do the same for both sides here. List 3 in my calculator is going to be the X, list 4 is going to be the Y values. Okay, so once you've got both those lists in, you want to just kind of double check to make sure that the points line up. So I'm on the 111, 18.88. That is true. That one works. So just make sure that you've got these in. Did I miss one?
After 111, there's 141.
Oh, I missed one on my list here. 111. Oh, 141. Okay. So that's what you want to make sure that you have in there. You want to make sure your numbers line up. So I think I wonder if I missed 141. Okay, I'll check that. So you may have to just delete or just add some numbers. Make sure you've got all the points in on your calculator. When you got your points in, what you want to do is you want to go to second function y equals, which is the stat plot menu. Okay? So you may as well go into just number 1, hit enter, and then you get to this screen right here. So what we're going to tell the calculator to do is we're going to tell it to plot. So you want to hit enter on, so it's on. The type is going to be this scatter plot here, just points. Now the X list and the Y list, okay, so whichever ones, I used list 3 for my X list, so I have to do second function 3, gives me list 3 there. And then second function 4 gives me list 4. So I have to make sure that I put that. If you used 1 and 2, great. If you use 3 and 4 like me, then you have to make it look like this. Okay? Now, once you've got this set up, the graphing calculator is going to graph it. However, we have to probably change our window setting just a little bit so that we can see all these values. For example, the X goes from 21 to 355. So we want to make sure that we've got 21 in there. So let's go to 20 at least. And max 3... Sorry? What did you say?
Would that need to be negative or
no? No, these are just days of the year. That's fine. No. The lowest is 20, the maximum is, we're going to go 360. So then over here on the Y values, right, the minimum one is 6.12, no, it's 4 over here. So let's go like 2 or something, and then all the way up to, that's 20, let's go, I can go 20, yeah, sure, you can go 25. That's fine. So if you have 20, 360, 1, 2, 25, and so on, let's see, the graph should look just like this. Okay? All right?
I'm getting some weird lines.
All right?
But what do I have?
Okay, so once you've got everything in there, you've got all your points in there, it looks like this. This is very, very important. This is the key, okay? You want to tell the calculator to please come up with an equation of a graph that will follow these points exactly. So it's called a curve of regression. This is how we're going to do it. We're going to go to Stat, and then we're going to go to the Calculate menu and the Stat button. So that's over here, Calc. Now, you'll see all these regs here, line reg, quad reg, cubic reg, and so on. Let's go down to sine reg. So you want sine reg. We're going to ask the calculator to give us a sinusoidal regression function. So that's going to be a sine graph that's going to go through those points. Stat, calculate, and then to sine reg. It's the one at the very bottom. Enter. Now you should have this on your calculator. So before you do anything else, we have to tell the calculator, hey, I want you to look at the points in this list and this list for your x and y value. So we're going to do that. And mine again was list 3. You're going to have to separate those by a comma, just like it's kind of like x comma y. It's right above the 7. The comma is. And then list 4. Now don't hit enter yet. There's one last little step that we're going to do. We're going to put a comma again. And it's going to give us all the values for the equation, but we also want it to put that equation into the y equals so that we'll automatically graph it. So we don't have to retype out the equation. So how you do that is this. Vars. Hit that vars button. Arrow over to y vars. Yes, function. So hit enter. And then it'll say, which one do you want me to put it in? And you can just put it into y1. So it will take the equation of the sine equation, and put it into y1 for you. Now hit enter. And it'll think for a second or two. Hopefully not for too long. And then it'll come up with this. Look at this. Y equals a sine bx plus c plus d. And it gives you, hey, this is the value for a, this is the value for b, this is the value for c, and this is the value for d. Is yours a little different?
Right when you go to the sine reg right away.
So now if you go to y equals, look at it should already be populated into y1, because that's what we asked it to do. If it's not in there, you have to type this in there. And then you hit graph, and that should not be like that. I think that maybe we are in a different
Mine worked.
Yours worked fine?
Mine worked fine.
Okay. I don't know what happened to mine here. Okay, it shouldn't look like that. Let me just see what's wrong. Okay, so apparently it doesn't like you to put these points in out of order. So that's why mine didn't work the first time. So when you're putting your points in, start at the one on the far left, work all the way to the far right in your first column, and then you can't add a point later. It messes up sort of the regression. So I redid that, made sure that my menus were correct, so 21 all the way through to the end, and then back for the second row. If you've got all those in properly, then this is what it should look like. So this is what your sine graph should look like. Okay? So that's how you do that. Again, you can watch this video over again, but just a quick review. Stat, enter, and then choose two lists. Here I did 3 and 4 to put in your x, all of your x values, and then all of your y values. And then you do stat, and you go over to calculate there, and then you go all the way down the list, or you go kind of up because sine's at the bottom, and this will give you a sinusoidal regression function. You hit enter, and then you put in your x list. So for me it was list 3, comma, my y list was list 4, comma, and then vars, right cursor, function, y1, and then enter, and it'll think for a few seconds, and then it should show you the values for A, B, C, and D, and you graph that, and it should show you that curve of best fit. Okay, so that's a quick rundown how to put lists in, how to do a sinusoidal regression.